Upon us yet again, and this year could bring even more frustration than fun for travelers. With outrageously long security lines topping 2 and 3 hours at a number of major airports, drawing more attention to the already beleaguered Transportation Security Administration.
Some airports are now weighing a radical option, firing TSA screeners and hiring private replacements instead. Bloomberg News reporter Justin Bachman joins us now from Dallas with more. And Justin, great to see you. Are airports without the federal officers any different, any less safe? That's the question everyone wants to know.
They're not less safe. It's really the same standards and the same protocols that all airports have to follow. And the TSA maintains, authority for keeping those airports just as safe as all the rest of them.
So how did this happen? Let me do a little personal story. So the last time I traveled was April 2014. Then I had a baby and stuff. And then I traveled again last month. And the difference in 2 years was unbelievable. I had never seen lines that long since I was a kid. What happened?
Well, what happened is the TSA lost a lot of people and they lost budget. So this is really a staffing and a budget issue. And that's kind of what we're seeing. The issues all come home to roost right now.
Coming home to roost right now, so if airports are going around the TSA and looking to hire private screeners, what does the TSA say about this? Do they support this option?
Well, they haven't said a lot about this option yet, but I think over time you're going to hear more talk about whether this could be part of the solution. Maybe not everywhere and maybe not the largest airports, but it could potentially free up staffing and resources in some areas to give you more people in other places. And, that's really kind of what, right now, I think everybody is just scrambling to see what could solve this problem and get us through the summer.
I mean, some of this video is like crazy with all these people. What airports have actually gone more with private contractors versus TSA, and what's been the result of that?
Well, most of the airports now, there are 22, and they're fairly small. San Francisco and Kansas City are the two largest ones in the program now. So the people, when you're going through those airports, you don't really notice a difference. The only difference might be slight variation in the uniform, but the standards are the same. And, what's happened is that a lot of the airports that are talking about this are saying, we may get better customer service and we may get more of a response when we see problems from a contractor than we do from the TSA. But that's still an open question.
Still an open question, but if enough airports decide to move away from the TSA and go to the private security screeners option, does that compel the TSA to do anything? Is there a response that the TSA needs to give?
Well, they generally transition in a year, and they've been approving more of these now. They don't have any currently pending, they say. But what you're really faced with is that it's still a budget issue. The money that would pay the private contractors is still the same money that's paying the TSA screeners. So if you don't get more money, it's not clear that you're going to actually solve your long wait problem, because it really goes to staffing.
And Alex, of course, one option that's been thrown out there is that people can sign up more for the TSA pre-check, where you are pre-screened and therefore you can go into the fast line. Of course, you have to pay up for that, something like $88.
So not a lot of people have actually done that, which is sort of exacerbated the problem. All right, so if I'm traveling on a plane this weekend and then that airport decides to switch over to private contractors, how soon do I get to feel the relief?
You're not going to see a change. It's probably going to be a year. So maybe next Memorial Day, we'll be talking about this change at those airports.
TSA's new groping process so invasive, they're warning police to prepare for complaints. Something ominous is taking place at the Transportation Security Administration, TSA, right now, having to do with a more aggressive version of the already invasive pat-down method. The TSA is so certain their new groping method will offend that they have taken action to warn police ahead of time that they will undoubtedly be receiving complaints. The TSA, one of America's most corrupt and incompetent agencies whose ostensible job is fighting terrorism, is apparently so unsatisfied with the mere ability to strip-search babies, remove colostomy bags, beat up blind cancer patients, and fondle your genitalia, that they announced a more invasive physical pat-down this week. Taking note of their increased ability to grope anyone who wishes to fly on an airplane, the agency expects passengers to consider the examination unusual. In fact, as Bloomberg reports, the TSA decided to inform local police in case anyone calls to report an abnormal federal frisking according to a memo from an airport trade association obtained by Bloomberg News. The physical search, for those selected to have one, is what the agency described as a more comprehensive screening, replacing 5 separate kinds of pat-downs it previously used. Passengers who have not previously experienced the now standardized pat-down screening may not realize that they did in fact receive the correct procedure, and may ask our partners, including law enforcement at the airport, about the procedure. TSA spokesman Bruce Anderson wrote March 3 in an email, describing why the agency notified police. The fact that the TSA is alerting police to the fact that there will likely be an increase in complaints is bad enough. However, their vague details about the newly enhanced sexual assault with the fronts of their hands leave the imagination open for the worst. Read more. Pregnant woman loses eye after St. Louis cops shoot her with beanbag through her car window on its website. The TSA says employees use the back of the hands for pat-downs over sensitive areas of the body. In limited cases, additional screening involving a sensitive area pat-down with the front of the hand may be needed to determine that a threat does not exist. Due to this change, TSA asked FSDS field security directors to contact airport law enforcement and brief them on the procedures in case they are notified that a passenger believes a TSA employee has subjected them to an abnormal screening practice. Airports Council International North America (OCINA) wrote, as the Free Thought Project has pointed out countless times, the TSA has been caught in a myriad of criminal activity, including everything from massive drug trafficking conspiracies to brutal beatdowns. Granting this already despicable group of cronies the ability to further dehumanize Americans for the facade of safety is nothing short of irresponsible and tyrannical. Laughably, the OCINA is justifying these enhanced pat-downs by claiming TSA agents aren't intelligent enough to remember all the procedures. The pat-down change is intended to reduce the cognitive burden on employees who previously had to choose from various pat-down procedures depending on the type of screening lane, the OCINA wrote in its notice, as reported by Bloomberg. Now, instead of a dim-witted TSA agent fumbling to remember what pat-down to do in which lane, they can just pull the person off to a secret room and have their way with the front of their hands. Thanks, America. Of course, when they were pressed for questions in regards to their new molestation techniques, the TSA said they couldn't comment because knowing our specific procedures could aid those who wish to do travelers harm in evading our measures. Image. http://wp-content/upload/wp-content/uploads/reantrum_300x250 text.jpg. Read more. This is what police state America looks like to the average American who buys into the terrorists hate our freedom propaganda. This move by the TSA to grant them the legal ability to grope themselves and their children will be mostly accepted. However, to those of us who pay attention and realize that the TSA has a 95% failure rate at stopping anything from coming through, as well as being a massively corrupt and predatory organization, this move is seen for what it actually is: conditioning for the police state.